show my appreciation to the GIC for inviting me here today to give this talk. So AMURT, what is AMURT? So our slogan is empowering people and inspiring change. So this is what we endeavor to achieve. So AMURT is rooted in yoga philosophy. I'll explain later on. The mother organization of AMURT is Ananda Marga. So AMURT is an acronym for Ananda Marga Universal Relief Team. So we are an international humanitarian development organization, and we promote rights-based strategies to eradicate, to remove poverty, and to help create opportunities for everyone to realize their potential. So this is a team of our volunteers in Haiti. I think everybody knows where Haiti is, yeah? Off the coast of USA. So Ananda Marga. Ananda Marga is a socio-spiritual organization. So it's established by P.R. Saka. His spiritual name is Sri Sri Anandamurti. So the Ananda Marga was established in 1955. So our mission of Ananda Marga is self-realization and service to humanity. So basically we teach yoga, meditation, vegetarian philosophy, and we also run a variety of service projects throughout the world. In most countries around the world we have our centers and projects. So the history of AMURT. AMURT was started in 1970, but previous to that our founder, he started what we call the Ananda Marga Relief Committee. So this was started in 1967. Then AMURT was formally founded on the 19th of April 1970. So one of the major disasters, the first disasters that AMURT responded to was the cyclone which hit Bangladesh in 1970, November. So actually this is one of the biggest cyclones in the world, even to date. About 300,000 to 500,000 people were killed in this cyclone. So AMURT was there, we were doing relief work. And a year after that, in 1971, there was also a war, independence war in Bangladesh. We were also there, we set up relief centers around Bangladesh. So AMURTEL is, you can say, the sister organization of AMURT. It's the ladies branch. I'll explain a little bit about that. So AMURTEL was formed in 1975. In 1985, AMURT broadened our goals from just responding to disasters and doing disaster relief work to doing long-term development work. So AMURTEL, as I say, was formed in 1975. It's a sister organization to respond specifically to the problems facing women and children who in their struggle to develop. So AMURTEL is managed by women and initiates programs that raise the standard of health and education of women and their children. So the programs also permit women to gain greater self-determination and economic independence. So this photo is of a colleague of ours. Her name is Didi Ananda Kalika. So Didi is originally from Australia. She's been working for more than 20 years in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. And you may know that Ulaanbaatar is the coldest capital city of the world. It's extremely cold, like minus 40 degrees in the winter. So she's been working there. She runs a children's home. They call Lotus Children's Center. So she, at the moment, has about 80 or 90 children who are orphaned. They have no parents or they've been abandoned. So she takes care of these children. So this is one of our AMURTEL projects running in Mongolia. So the mission of AMURT is basically to seek sustainable solutions for poverty reduction. Means we aim to reduce poverty wherever possible, and environmental restoration through the integrated community-based participatory approach that strengthens the capacity. So basically, we want that not only human beings will benefit, but the whole environment will benefit. I mean, it's a holistic approach to development. So this is a quote by the founder of AMURT, which is quite a famous quote that everybody we come to know, which is, "Let everybody be happy." Let everybody be free from all physical and psychic ailments. Let everybody see the bright side of everything. Let nobody forced to undergo any troubles under the pressure of circumstances. So this is what inspires us. Because we practice yoga meditation. So through the practice of meditation, we come in touch with ourselves. And by coming in contact with yourself, you also come in contact, you also feel oneness with all. So this inspires us to do more service to others. So the goal of AMURT, so basically we aim to improve the quality of life of the poor and underprivileged people of the world and to assist the victims of natural and man-made disasters. So we believe that the best assistance is that which encourages and enables people to develop themselves. If you only just hand out help to people and they don't learn how to take care of themselves, when you withdraw that help, they become helpless. So the best service, the best support you can give is actually enable them to become independent, enable to stand on their own. This photo I took in Ulaanbaatar. I worked in Mongolia for 4 years, previously to coming to Taiwan. This boy, his nickname was Tarzan, because of his hair, I guess. So he's actually naked, you cannot see. He's a 3-year-old boy who's just roaming around. This is what they call the GIC district. The GIC district means, you can say, like shantytown. It's where they have no running water, no electricity. The poorest of the poor people, they live there. And there's very heavy pollution. People suffer from respiratory diseases. I will tell you a little bit more about him later on. So the principles, we have about 7 principles of AMURT. The first one is every human being has the right to meet his or her own fundamental needs, such as nourishment, means food, accommodation, medical care, clothing, and education. So these are the 5 fundamental needs of every human being which we require to live and to survive. So this photo is taking our global headquarters of Ananda Marga, which is called Ananda. Ananda in English means city of bliss, city of joy. So her name is Dr. Karuna, and she is a medical doctor. So she volunteers every month. We have like a free medical camp. So hundreds of villagers, they come there to get free medical treatment. So you may recognize this fellow here. I don't know if you recognize or not. This is a younger version of myself, about 15 years ago. So this is when I was working in Uganda, in the Wasco village. So we had a school and a clinic. So this is like a typical family. They produce maybe 7 or 8 children average per family. So our second principle, every human being, regardless of race, creed, gender, color, or social status, is a dignified member of the human family and should be treated with understanding and respect. Okay. Third principle, it is only by showing respect for women and ensuring their integration and active participation in the development process that the harmonious growth of the family, community, and society as a whole can be achieved. So, we say that a bird has 2 wings. A bird cannot fly with 1 wing. So, for a society to be healthy, both women and men, must progress. Otherwise, children will actually lack the most if their mothers are not educated. If women don't receive the same, same development as men do. So this project, Rural Mothers in Peru. So this is for very poor families. And what they're making here, you may be able to see, they're finger puppets, or puppet fingers. So they're making, and they sell them. They sell them around the world actually. So it's a way of earning some money to take care of their families. So this is run by Aditi in Peru, in Lima. Okay, so the 4th principle, development is a balanced process that maintains an equilibrium between industry and the environment, urban and rural growth, human needs and available resources. Development should lessen the gap between the rich and the poor, and provide opportunities for all. The reason I chose this photograph, again, this is, you may recognize Tarzan there with his father. His name is Supat, his proper name, they call him Tarzan. So Mongolia is a perfect example, because Mongolia, as you know, was a communist country. So 20 years or more than 20 years ago, the people pretty much had quite an equal status, means economic status. And then when the communists collapsed, when Russia pulled out their support and communists collapsed in Mongolia, then capitalism took over. So now you can see the disparity between the rich and poor. Within a short time, within 10 years, it's complete change in the country. So you see the poor became much, much poorer because there's no free healthcare, there's no free education, there's no free food. So all this support was pulled away, and it took years to recover. And of course now the NGOs, the different non-government organizations, they're helping Mongolia. So this is a perfect example of how the disparity between the rich and the poor increases in the capitalist society. So this Selempura is the father of Supat. So I met him a couple of times when we used to give food and blankets to the poor families in the GIC district. And then I didn't see him one time, and then I heard that at night time he'd been drinking, and then he fell down. And they found him the next day, and I think his leg became frozen and they had to amputate. So it was quite a sad story. So basically he was really struggling to take care of his family. He was a retired driver. Okay, next principle. Appropriate development begins with the social and cultural framework of each community. It enables unprivileged communities to gain a greater degree of independence to determine their own future. This photo is taken in Haiti. So basically what they did is they had 2 villages, and there was no road in between these villages. So AMURT inspired the people from each village that we're going to build a road together. So they had a midpoint, the point halfway between each village. And they said whichever team will arrive at this point first, then they will get a prize. So they're all working very hard, to reach this midpoint. So AMURT inspired them, AMURT provided all the pickaxes, but they did the work. So they were so proud, and they felt this is our road. So they had ownership on this road. But we didn't just go in there and build it for them. Development should respect the natural ecosystem of the earth, so that all living beings may live in health and harmony. So as I said earlier, we're not just concerned with human beings, we're concerned with the whole ecosystem. So this nursery was set up again in Haiti. Haiti, its neighboring country is Dominican Republic, and if you will see like a satellite image or image from a satellite, you will see that Dominican Republic is covered in forest, and originally Haiti was also. But because of deforestation, now they have a big problem of flooding, and that's why they had 2 major floods which killed a lot of people because of the hurricanes. So one of our projects there is reforestation. So this is one of the nurseries supplying the seedlings to this reforestation project. The last principle, the freedom to express our full potential for all-round physical, intellectual and spiritual fulfillment is a fundamental right of all people. So in Ananda, we believe that we are physical, psycho-spiritual beings. Primarily we are spiritual with the physical body. So we should have the right to express ourselves on all levels, physical, mental and spiritual. So these are just some of the major partners that AMURT works with to do our work, because alone we cannot work, our funds are limited. So in different countries we get grants or funding from different organizations. We partner up with several organizations. So this is just an example of some of those. So when we respond to large disasters, then basically we will take the help. We will apply for grants, for example, from the United Nations World Food Programme or United Nations Development Programme, or different embassies, like Japan Embassy or US Embassy. For example, in Kenya, AMURT did a huge project about the HIV/AIDS awareness. It's an educational program. So we got a huge grant from the US government for that, the USAID. So we are like the middleman between the donor agencies and what we call the CBOs, community-based organizations, and the individuals. So to do the work, when you go in and you respond to a disaster, you need to work with small organizations. They're the people who know the situation on the ground. So you contact whichever they may be, a women's group or scouts or whatever they are. And so you contact them, you work with them, you do research, you find out what are the needs of the people. And then you apply for the grants, then you supply the materials or whatever is required. So this is the role that AMURT plays when we respond to large disasters. Okay, so now we come to a video because I think you'll find this more interesting.
Total devastation, and survivors tell tragic stories of loved ones lost.
The Haitian city of Gonaive is still counting its dead, but back-to-back killer storms.
No one saw it coming until it was too late. So how does a tsunami happen?
The new numbers suggest the cyclone in Myanmar may have been far more destructive than first thought.
Regardless of race, religion, nationality, or gender. There is no telling when and where a disaster will strike. However, it is possible to lessen the devastation it leaves. Was founded in 1970 and now exists in over 34 countries. Their goal is to provide relief in times of disaster, while also developing long-term projects to improve the quality of life for people affected by poverty.
My name is Project Coordinator since September of 2001. So I came to Haiti as a volunteer with Marga and worked the first 3 months in Port-au-Prince, and then right after Cyclone Jean, came to the northwest with several volunteers. basically served as facilitators of a very large food security project that helped communities. Since then, the project became more oriented towards development. We began developing relationships with the local communities, and we slowly started developing a strategy, administration, and longer, more durable presence in the area. We have now 6 areas of intervention. We have infrastructure. From the very beginning, we were focusing on water infrastructure, water systems, roads, other types of infrastructure, irrigation canals, etc. We have ongoing projects in education. It's an integrated education project. We have a project focusing on health, building clinics and offering community health programs. Environment. We have a project with community tree nurseries, 8 community tree nurseries, soil conservation. And the last sector is restructuring of the methods of the salt production and transformation.
AMURT has spread in northwestern Haiti to now serve a population of over 14,000 people.
We live with the people very simply. We do not impose the projects. We seek to develop the capacity. This of the local people.
In Ghana, Western Africa, communities have been plagued for ages by the deadly guinea worm. This is a parasite that enters the body through unclean drinking water. Once inside, it can grow up to 10 times its size, feeding on the body it inhabits. Locals used to believe that this disease occurred because of evil spirits. AMURT has in this area initiated a huge water project to supply clean drinking water to the villages.
The Water Project is a community-based project. It's a grassroots project. AMURT is a partnership with the community. AMURT's role is to provide the technology, the funding, and the direction. Has to provide whatever raw materials are there available in the area and all the communal labor, which is very considerable in a project like the water project.
Water travels from a dam and catchment area to a treatment plant. Here, it is purified by a slow sand filter and pumped up to the top of a mountain to be held in a water tower. From there, it flows by gravitational force to the standpipes in the surrounding villages. The communities take great pride in the Mafi Songo water project, which has completely eliminated guinea worm from the area. Their active participation made this large-scale venture totally sustainable. Through coordinated effort, it is possible to strengthen people that are affected, thus enabling communities to rebuild their lives. From disaster relief to long-term development, AMURT seeks to help improve the quality of life for the poor and disadvantaged. AMURT was set up to assist women and children, the backbone of a healthy community. Together, AMURT and AMURT work with individuals and communities to harness their own potential for achieving greater economic, social, and spiritual fulfillment.
Okay. So this is one testimonial from a victim to one of the disasters. Actually, Haiti has suffered 3 major disasters since 2004. In 2004, 2008, 2010. So she said that after the hurricane, life became even harder. We had no food, no nothing. The rains took all of our gardens away. And then these white people, they came and they were Haitians with them too. Yes, AMURT. And they took care of us when no one even came to check on us, right then and there. They did with us these kitchens, serving hot meals for months on end. And then they gave us seeds. I still have the harvest that started with the seeds from that time. And they didn't leave. They stayed and they're still here. The village now has water because of them. And I hear that now there will be schools too. They're doing good and they help me with the house, once fixing the roof. God sent them, really. This is one of the recent operations. You may have heard of the big flood in northern India, in Uttarakhand. So since the end of June this year, AMURT and AMURT have served, they've been sent several relief teams to the areas most affected. And we've distributed food and medicines and blankets to thousands of people in about 22 villages, set up several medical camps. So I will come back to this one a little bit later. This is a photo of one of my colleagues. You know about the tsunami 2 years ago in Japan. So AMURT went there. We were one of the few NGOs who was allowed to work there. So we were cleaning up the house of this lady. So she really was quite grateful. So we obviously depend on donors, on sponsorship, not only from big organizations, but even individuals. We also take volunteers. You on our website will see opportunities to volunteer all over the world. We have a variety of projects. With you can switch on if you want this heater. The conclusion. This is one more quote from the founder of AMURT. Building anything on humanistic lines requires a foundation of real love and affection for humanity. A truly benevolent society will never come into being under the leadership of those who are solely concerned with profit and loss. Where love is paramount, the question of personal loss or gain does not arise. The basic ingredient for building a healthy society is simply genuine love. But this photo is of my colleague in Mongolia. We gave some blankets and food to one family. And in Mongolia, the culture is when they greet you, they would take a silken scarf and they put over your neck and they give you some milk. So he was so appreciative that he decided to give my colleague a big kiss on the face. He was quite shocked. So I would like to introduce you to our program next Saturday? Sunday, okay. Next Sunday, 3 to 7 p.m. at the YMCA. So there will be a fundraising dinner to support the relief work in Uttarakhand in India. And the tickets are 20,000 won. And I think you can buy here?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you.